Equatorial Guinea. On Monday, confirmed an outbreak of Marburg virus disease in 2 districts near the borders with Cameroon and Gabon. Marburg belongs to the same family of viruses as Ebola, causes similar symptoms, transmits between humans the same way, and like Ebola, has a very high fatality ratio. So far, 9 deaths have been reported in people with symptoms consistent with Marburg, and 1 tested positive for the virus.
Yes, welcome back. It is extremely difficult sometimes to do videos pertaining to this outbreak. Within the space of 4 months, I have seen about 2 serious situations like what we are going to see on this clip. I believe you might have seen this on this channel. I posted this video 2 days ago. I realized it was demonetized. At a certain point, I had to edit out some part, and immediately I did so, I realized it was okay. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that, and if possible, why not share this video?
Belongs to the same family of viruses as Ebola, causes similar symptoms, transmits between humans the same way, and like Ebola, has a very high fatality ratio. So far, 9 deaths have been reported in people with symptoms consistent with Marburg, and 1 tested positive for the virus. The other 8 deaths are considered suspected cases because they had similar symptoms and were most likely part of the same transmission chain. But Marburg could not be confirmed because samples could not be obtained. 16 suspected cases have been admitted to health facilities with mild symptoms, and 21 contacts are being monitored at home. WHO is supporting the government to respond to the outbreak by deploying experts in epidemiology, clinical care, risk communication, community engagement, and infection prevention and control. We are also helping to establish diagnostic capacity for Marburg, and we have chartered flights to send medical supplies and personal protective equipment. There are currently no approved vaccines or treatments for Marburg virus disease, and few are in development. WHO convened a consultation of the Marburg virus vaccine and therapeutics consortium, which includes developers and experts from around the world. Any decision on trials of vaccines and therapeutics will be made by national authorities and researchers in Equatorial Guinea.
A severe strain of avian influenza is killing birds all over the U.S., including Michigan.
Yes, welcome back. If you realize, I did a similar video like this 2 weeks ago. Now, World Organization is sounding alarm for 2 scenarios you have not seen. The first, controversial experiment that could make bird flu more risky poised to resume. According to this article from science.org, controversial lab studies that modify bird flu viruses in ways that could make them more risky to humans will soon resume. After being on for more than 4 years, Science Insider has learned that last year, a US government review panel quietly approved experiment proposed by 2 labs that were previously considered so dangerous, federal officials had to impose an unusual top-down.
A severe strain of avian influenza is killing birds all over the U.S., including Michigan. In Washtenaw County, 2 pet parrots contracted the virus and died.
This was a really unusual detection. We have not seen this virus in the pet birds before, so this is really kind of a wake-up call to us and to people with birds that, they're susceptible too.
There are a lot of people in Michigan who are backyard farmers or urban farmers. What are some of the things that they can do to make sure they don't attract any wild birds to their properties?
That's a great question. So those wild birds are going to be attracted to food and water. So to the extent that someone with backyard birds can keep that food and water sources away, any water that is given to their own birds should be water that is not accessible by those wild birds.
Yes, if you have been following this channel very keenly, you realize I did a similar video like this 9 months ago on this channel. World Organization dictated this in Ghana. Now they say the outbreak is in Equatorial Guinea, and they are afraid it might spread round the world. They are sounding alarm in two scenarios. You have seen the one of bird flu, now the one of Marburg virus. So we are facing two new pandemics at the same time.
Health officials in Ghana say they've confirmed the country's first 2 cases of the Marburg virus, a highly infectious disease with similarities to Ebola. The World Health Organization says both hospital. The virus is transmitted to people from fruit bats and it spreads between humans through the transmission of bodily fluids. Well, for more on that, here's Thomas Nadi in the Ghanaian capital, Accra.
The 2 cases are a 26-year-old male adult and a 51-year-old male adult. They both checked into a hospital in the Ashanti region in southern Ghana on different days and then shortly after. But they exhibited symptoms of the virus, so further laboratory investigation.
Now, when you take a look at this article, one of the projects has already received funding from the National Institute of Health, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease in Maryland. The other is awaiting funding. The outcome may not satisfy scientists who believe certain studies that aim to make pathogens more potent or more likely to spread in mammals are so risky they should be limited or even banned. Some are upset because the government review will not be made available in public. After a deliberative process that cost 1 million, we are now being asked to trust a completely opaque process where the outcome is to permit the continuations of dangerous experiments, says Harvard University epidemiologist Mark. One of the investigators leading the studies, however, says he is happy he can resume his experiment. We are glad the United States government weigh the risks and benefits and develop new outside mechanisms. We know that it does carry risks. We also believe it is important work to protect human health, says Kawuka of the University of Wisconsin in Madison and the University of Tokyo. The other group that got the green light is led by Ron Fonsier at Erasmus University of Medical Center in Rotterdam, the Netherlands.
A highly contagious strain of avian flu is spreading to several states in the